If you've been thinking about downsizing for a while, and by a while, I mean months, maybe years, but every time you try to start, you feel overwhelmed, emotional, or suddenly very busy reorganizing something else, this is for you. Because most downsizers aren't stuck because they're lazy or indecisive. They're stuck in what I call the downsizing freeze. That moment where the decision feels so heavy that doing absolutely nothing somehow feels like the safest option. I've had clients laugh when I describe this because they'll say, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I'm doing. One woman even told me she reorganized the same closet 3 times before making the actual decision. And if that sounds familiar, congratulations, you're normal. Give me a few minutes and I'll walk you through my downsizing clarity framework, the same 3-step process I use to help downsizers move from frozen and anxious to calm, clear, and confidently moving forward. Without starting with decluttering, without rushing, and without pretending this isn't emotional, because it is. And if you want the printable version of the Downsizing Clarity Framework, the exact one I use with my clients, just let me know. I'm always happy to share it. I'm Denise, and I specialize in helping longtime homeowners downsize with dignity, clarity, and protection, financially and emotionally. I work with people who lived in their homes for decades, people who say things like, I know I should move, but wow, this feels like a lot. And my goal in every video is simple, to give you one grounded, practical thing you can use right now, even if you're just quietly thinking, okay, someday I'll deal with this. Here's the real problem. You're not just dealing with a house. You're dealing with years, sometimes even decades of memories, routines, belongings, family moments, and identity, all wrapped up under one roof. And when you try to think about everything at once, the stuff, the memories, the money, the timing, the next place, the opinions of well-meaning family members, your brain does exactly what it's designed to do when it feels overwhelmed. It freezes. And here's what most downsizers do instead. They pick a room, start sorting, then hit something emotional, a photo, a keepsake, a random object that suddenly carries 30 years of meaning, and quietly back out of the room like, nope, not today. I worked with a client who told me there was one drawer she opened 3 separate times and closed every single time. We laughed about it later, but in the moment, it felt really real. They tell themselves they'll start after the holidays, after the next trip, after things calm down. They avoid calling a realtor because they're worried it will suddenly turn into pressure, timelines, or decisions they're not ready for. And none of this works, not because they're doing it wrong, but because there's no plan underneath it. When your nervous system thinks you're in danger, emotionally or financially, it's not interested in productivity. It's interested in safety. So your brain keeps you exactly where you are in the same house, telling yourself you'll deal with it later. And that's how people end up staying stuck for years, sometimes in homes that no longer fit their energy, their health, or even their lifestyle. I've seen people wait longer than they wanted to, not because they didn't want to change, but because they didn't know there was a calmer way to approach it. My job is to get you out of the downsizing freeze without pushing you off a cliff. And here's how I do it. We start with your life, not your stuff. Do you want fewer stairs, less maintenance, more freedom, a better location, more time enjoying life, and less managing a house? When you define what this next chapter should feel like, your brain starts to see downsizing as a relief, not a loss. Next, I walk through your home exactly as it is. No pre-cleaning, no hiding piles, no apology tour. I'm not there to judge your house. I'm there to translate into a plan. We identify the small number of things that actually matter, and we cross off everything that doesn't deserve your energy. This is usually the moment people say, oh, this is actually manageable. Finally, we built a timeline that fits your health, your schedule, and your emotional bandwidth. We look at your options, your backup options, and your safety nets, so nothing feels rushed. And instead of feeling like you're jumping off a cliff, it feels like you're walking down a well-lit staircase with a handrail. This works because it calms the nervous system and organizes the logistics. You're not forcing yourself through something overwhelming. You're moving forward with clarity, protection, and support. And once downsizers realize this isn't chaos, it's a guided process, that's when they finally say, okay, I can do this. If you'd like the Downsizing Clarity Framework in the checklist form, just let me know. It helps you think clearly without pressure and move forward when you are ready.